Modeled off of nightmares, myths, wild animals, and strange people, gargoyles were intended to communicate various messages in straightforward and subversive ways. If you believe that all of these stone creatures peering down at you from above are only there to deflect rainwater, then you need to adjust your viewpoint. Simple tubes and gutters incorporated into architecture would take care of that sort of thing easily enough, if drainage was truly the primary objective of gargoyles. If they were merely functional, then there would be no need to go to the trouble of building installations shaped like fantastic beasts. Although typically associated with the European medieval period, grotesque statuary attached to buildings was a choice utilized during ancient times, including pharaonic Egypt, and further back into Mesopotamia. They were meant to frighten and baffle everyone, and everything that encountered them. The Middle Ages were stricken by fear of whatever leaned towards the wicked side of the ethereal world. So it wouldn't be completely off base to view gargoyles as serving a role similar to Halloween costumes, in the sense that artificial scary monsters were created to intimidate supposedly real scary monsters. So essentially, fighting fire with fire. For those medieval churches, the Notre Dame Cathedral being the most well-known example, it was believed that man-made devils clinging to the towers would be effective deterrents against any demons foolish enough to consider entering the holy sanctuaries. Regardless, decorating sacred structures with fiends can seem like a dark and puzzling tactic. The National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., as well as some other modern institutions, updated the context of gargoyles, what they mean, what they are, and what they can be. In the American capital, that includes real-world heroes like Mother Teresa and Rosa Parks in quote-unquote gargoyle form, and also pop fiction villains like Darth Vader. While we have a tendency to congratulate contemporary culture on its relative cleverness, sometimes it can be easy to underestimate how cunning our ancestors were. Even those who worked in the spiritual realm recognized the power of wow factor entertainment, leaving us with, to a certain extent, the medieval times version of special effects. Sure, plenty of gargoyles can give you the shivers, but there's no denying that long-gone craftsmen had a sense of humor and pushed beyond the limits of acceptability. How they got away with some of that crude comedy, blended throughout the intentional creepiness, depended on the specific circumstances and officials involved. As the years moved forward, Renaissance levity chased away some of the shadows. And by the time the Enlightenment rolled in, prominent gargoyles were considered to be passé Gothic accessories that had fallen out of fashion. Despite that, they, of course, continued to mope and sneer from the rooftops, being occasionally blessed with scattered periodic revivals into the current day. Whether or not gargoyles actually succeeded in scaring off the devil can't be determined. But if the goal was to impress using freaky, confusing, and memorable figures, then there's no question that this was accomplished, at least on flesh and blood people.